September 11, 2001 was a day that we'll never forget, and trying to wrestle with all those emotions as a 20-year-old was tough.
You know, it was really a surreal moment. A lot of people were emotional. We were wondering, what could a bunch of poor college kids in Texas do to help?
News had started traveling about what was going on, and it was very quiet and kind of uncharacteristic of campus.
As the day of September 11th went on, people probably transitioned at their own pace of, okay, I've started the process, what happened, now what can I do?
We just quickly set out and said, let's see if we can make something out of this.
This is what we want to do. This is our idea. Let's see if we can have everyone wear red, white, and blue shirts throughout the stadium.
I don't even know exactly what caused it to happen. We knew that the next game was in about 10 days. So if we wanted to do something, we needed to do it quickly.
Well, good to have you on today. The Aggies at Oklahoma State. It is red, white, and blue day today at Kyle Field. A student project that has just turned out beautifully.
The setting here today is just unbelievable. It really makes you proud to be an American, to be quite honest with you. And all I can say is God bless America and each and every person that's gathered here today.
You know, I think A&M's the only type of place that could really pull this off. We had no idea that this is something that we'd still be talking about or see images of decades later.
I mean, everywhere you went, you heard people talking about the red, white, and blue out and the work that those students were doing. And I think it's typical of the type of students that we have at Texas A&M. And they just went way beyond what you would expect.
You know, I think the first thing we realized we had to do was get some kind of official blessing from A&M to try to do this, right?
We immediately kind of formed a plan of splitting up and going to talk to various leaders across the university.
And it was met initially with some lukewarm acceptance, just because you had 5 students who were not affiliated with any one organization, trying to change a game day procedure in 10 days to drastically change the stadium from maroon to red, white, and blue.
And so we got approval from people to move forward and try to go with the idea. And that's when we went to Ken, I believe it was on Friday.
So we had 5 students, Texas A&M students, come into my office and talk to me about the potential of doing red, white, and blue shirts for the stadium. And when I first heard their request, you know, I thought it was just for the student side. But they told me, no, we want a red, white, and blue the whole stadium.
We walked in with an idea and empty pockets. We didn't have any way of financing this. We hadn't really thought about that. We just had an idea.
In the Aggie family, we were happy to at least listen. So I took a pause. I said, let me think about it. And the next day I called them. I said, we're in for 5,000 shirts. And I thought, really honestly, okay, that was the end of that.
There's not a whole lot I remember vividly because it was just a blur. It was a massive whirlwind. The sale of shirts happened really, really quickly.
5,000, the next day it was 10,000 shirts they needed, then 20,000 shirts, and it was just a snowball after that. The momentum for those kids was outrageous.
So that's when we really put out the call all over the state and even surrounding states to find red, white, and blue shirts. Because Texas had basically run out of them. We'd used them all.
Game day, I got to campus about 6 a.m. There were already lines of people to buy shirts, both current students, former students who had driven into town, members of the Bryan College Station community. It was just hundreds of people already in line. And we were unloading t-shirts off of trucks, just hot off the press from being printed that night. And we were selling them out of the back of trucks for $5 a t-shirt.
3 hours before game time, you began to see all of those red, white, and blue shirts walking around. I can't remember ever seeing a maroon shirt that day, which is unusual at a football game at Texas A&M that you don't have a maroon shirt on. We were flooded with those shirts, and you realized then that that was going to be something when we went into the stadium, that this had really been a success.
We in 10 days were able to achieve something that no one could have ever probably forecasted, and obviously is something that everyone is still very proud of. But it took a lot of coordination, it took a lot of volunteers, it took a lot of desire from the Aggie family, kind of in unison, to chip in to help, and this was kind of our outlet to do that.
Shortly after the event, a group of former students paid for the 5 of us and several other Aggies to travel to New York to present checks to both the Firefighters Association and the Police Officers Association of New York for the proceeds that were raised during Red, White, and Blue Out as part of their benevolent funds.
Donating that to them and seeing the genuine appreciation for the effort that we had done. I think when we showed them the picture, they were even more amazed by that than the money that we donated. And it wasn't just the 5 of us, it was thousands of volunteers. You know, it really was an entire community coming together and doing something good.
Today, Americans stand united, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's common every single year on the anniversary of 9/11 for this photo, for this event to be talked about and shared. It's always been a really defining and proud moment for the 12th Man, and I think that it's something that 20 years later we get to look at and say, you know, not much has changed in terms of the spirit and intentionality behind it.
Although we may never fully be able to recreate the momentum, the energy that was experienced 10 days after 9/11, back in 2001 when the original Red, White, and Blue game was held, I think that this effort is going to be a visual representation of just how much we appreciate our first responders who serve the Aggie community and every community outside of Aggie land as well.
The unique thing about the Red, White, and Blue game this time around is our main focus is donating money. So the donations are going to be going to Texas A&M Task Force 1 and Points of Light.
And so I think that adds to the magic of it. Recreating this game came from a place of wanting to show the world that that same spirit that lived 20 years ago in that game is still present today.
Good evening, football fans, and welcome to Kyle Field, the largest football venue in the great state of Texas. This is the home of the 12th Man and your fighting Texas Aggies.
Most of the students here were either not even born or were, 1 or 2 years old at the time. And to see them want to recreate something that happened 20 years ago is really pretty amazing.
The 20th year anniversary of the original Red, White, and Blue game is going to be a moment to remember, and I think overall it's very inspiring to see everything come full circle.